Again,
That's your new head coach.
Brian Daboll's our new head coach.
No. He said GM.
Who's our GM?
What, the Giants?
Yeah.
Joe Shane.
Joe Shane.
Yeah.
Joe Shane.
But that's what I said. That was head coach.
Oh, well, Dabble Sweetie?
No, not that.
Brian Dowell. Remember the Brian got
I do.
confused with Belichick?
I do. Yeah, that was
Brian
It's
Flores?
like easy to say.
Exactly. It got confused with Brian Flores.
Who are these guys?
Let's not get into that, guys.
Who are these guys?
Let's not
Who
get
are
into
these
that.
guys?
Belichick set up
These
the
guys.
Giants.
All right, so these guys
Set
are
up the
these guys
Giants.
are the Buffalo Head Trust or
Yeah.
Brain Trust,
Very
right?
much.
They drafted Josh Allen. They drafted whoever. You knew coming down the line when Joe Shane was hired. You knew he was going to hire his guy.
Yeah.
So that was, all the talk about Flores and,
Lawsuit.
all the lawsuits. Like, don't get me wrong, the Giants, I'll throw this out now. The Giants aren't losing lawsuit because they interviewed 2 black coaches. So Brian Flores, whatever scheme Bill Belichick had you run for him, because, yeah, we're not involved.
Leslie Fraser.
Yeah, we're not involved. But 5th and 7th, what are our needs? What do we need? I feel like we need the same thing every year for the last 7 seasons.
Well, obviously, our biggest Achilles heel, right, as everybody knows, is our offensive line. So I think they have a good opportunity. Hopefully, and I am hopeful that my buddy here is wrong, and hopefully Evan Neal falls to us. I don't think that will happen. So I think there's another big name out there, Iggy Onowu. I hope he falls to us, but I think definitely, the first pick, it needs to be the offensive line. So we need to protect the quarterback. Obviously, us retaining, Danny Dimes, we don't know what's going to happen. Obviously,
Daniel Penny.
So, but now he's obviously not the quarterback of the future, but we still need to rebuild this offensive
How do you know?
line. So I don't think he is.
How do you know?
I'm going my boy Hav because I did think he was, but I don't think he is. So he's got a lot to prove, and I don't think he'll be on this football team.
We gotta
next season.
apologize to Hall for that.
I think I'm very low on Daniel Dimes. But
Stop calling him Dimes.
Danny Dimes.
Daniel Jones.
Okay, Daniel Jones.
But I will say this: he's had an incompetent offensive coordinator.
He has.
I don't know why we hired that moron from Dallas. Like, there's a reason why Dallas fired him. Like afterwards, and it seemed like Dak Prescott was turning over a new leaf until Pete lost that money on him in the fantasy playoffs when he went off on Dak Prescott. He had 2 bad weeks, but for a good period of time last year, Dak Prescott looked like he was an MVP candidate, throwing for 400 yards like every game. And it's because they got rid of whatever his name was. I don't even remember his name. What was the dude's name?
Oh.
Who was our offensive coordinator last year? The Cowboys head coach?
The redheaded stepchild?
Yeah, the redheaded stepchild.
Garrett.
Jason Garrett. What a horrible hire. And he's never really had a good offensive line in front of him.
You're right.
Though he's had weapons, but it seemed like all those weapons were never together at any point in the season. But still, you still were drafted high. You're still supposed to be a good quarterback. Like, this is it. If
He was drafted too high, though. I think that's the problem. Number one. Number
think
two.
we all agree with
number
that.
2. I think if you saw other parts of his game that were better. I mean, he's just turning the ball over, and I think that's a big red
Even did
flag.
that in college. Like they knew that when they drafted him.
And I agree with Pete when he says this was like a Manning prototype. They thought they were going to get like another Eli, and this is far from Eli.
There's only one
So,
Eli.
Well, that's
so
the thing. He went to Duke, though.
He went to the Manning camp, and they said his personality was
I
so
went
much
to the
wrong.
Manning camp, too, at one point. Does that mean I'm going to be the quarterback of the New York Giants?
Hey, better than
I never went to the Manning
Danny
camp.
Dumpster.
But had I gone, does that make me a viable candidate to be a good quarterback in the NFL?
Of course not.
But at the end of the day, this is his last shot, honestly. He's either gonna do well this year. He's gonna have Tony if they don't trade him. He's gonna have Goddard.
Oh, will he
He's
have
gonna
Tony, though?
Well, that's what I'm saying. If they don't trade him,
I don't know.
I don't even know why we would bother trading him
why?
because that was a high pick. You're gonna throw
What happened
it.
there?
Like he when Golladay and Sterling Shepard were injured, he showed out in that game against the Cowboys. But
Flipped real fast.
anyways, so you're saying we go offensive line?
We got to
with
go
the fifth?
offensive line.
What about with the 7th?
7th, we need a pass rusher. We need an edge rusher. So obviously, we got a lot of names out there. You got Trayvon Walker.
Saying that for forever though.
You
We've
got-
been saying that forever.
You got Aiden Hutchinson. I mean, maybe Jermaine Johnson falls to
Hutchinson's
us.
not falling.
I don't know, but I don't think so either. So, but you never know. You never know with these these early picks. You never know. Somebody might trade up. You know, it gets scrambled somehow. I don't think that's going to happen. I think you guys are right. So, but we need an edge rusher with that seventh pick. So, in my opinion, so enough is enough. We need to be able to put pressure on the quarterback. We haven't done it since Jesus,
the Super Bowl years.
Yeah, so like
Essentially,
we haven't had a pass rush in so long. So
2011.
we definitely need that. So for this defense,
I'm gonna disagree with you on the pass rush. I think there's pass rushers in this draft, but there's not elite ones.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think there's more elite offensive tackles in this draft than there are pass rushers.
I agree with that.
So I think I would go. I mean, again, there's no wrong answer, right? It's
you don't know. We don't know.
They get paid millions of dollars. They don't pay me. So if I were them, I would go 2 offensive linemen. I'd solidify this line once and for all. Like we already got the guy last year who played good at left tackle. Now we just need to fill. We need to fill in the holes, and let's get a right tackle. Let's get a guard. Let's just solidify this line so there's no excuses this year that Daniel Jones is not the guy. He's gonna have solidified offensive line, 3 wide receivers, Saquon Barkley if he stays healthy, and Evan Ingram's not here anymore. Evan Ingram
player.
stinks.
There's no
Your
issues.
favorite player.
I hate Evan Ingram. I mean, all right, that's a strong word, but I dislike Evan Ingram. That guy drops every big pass known to man, like first down passes, touchdown passes. He probably dropped his baby in the freaking in the freaking delivery room. That's how much he sucked for us. But I think solidifying the offensive line is key. And I think in the second round we could maybe steal a pass rusher that is dropped. So. What are your thoughts on just going offensive line for the Giants?
I would obviously go offensive line with the 5th pick. With the 7th pick, I would actually go a little bit different from both of you and actually go.
If you say the safety, I'm going to
Don't
fight
tell me
you.
wide
All
receiver.
right.
I would go with the quarterback Malik Willis. The reason why he is a high upside pick, he's a guy that if he does work out, he's going to be a top 10 type quarterback because he has those type of attributes. Yeah. The reason why that he isn't considered the ultimate number 1 quarterback is he went to Liberty.
Yeah.
He's level competition, and they don't know how well he can read defenses because he's a runner. He's a Lamar Jackson. But because of his athletic ability, I think that's his bottom, is being somebody who can run around. He'll be able to make plays. So I think that's a good high floor, high ceiling type guy. That if you get your big time offensive lineman at 5 and you get him at 7, that's your future offense right there.
Do you think a team is going to trade up to get him? Because that's been the talk. I think
that's
they're
a
talking about.
possibility.
There's
Listen,
a big
I think
possibility.
I think the Giants trade out.
That's another thing that I was going to actually mention. He beat me to it. Do you think the Giants should trade? So
I think the Giants could trade out. I don't think they should. I think they should just get their 2 good players, whether it's 2 offensive linemen, whether it's an offensive lineman and a quarterback. However, I do think that Detroit will give a hard look at Willis at number 2. So that may change up everything.
Yeah,
in terms
and
of what you're
that's
looking at.
what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Like, you don't know what these, you can try to project. You can try to project, right?
I was getting a new quarterback.
But we don't know exactly what these teams are going to do, especially the first 3.
Yeah.
I mean, anything
Because
can happen.
everybody knows the Jets want a pass rusher. If they take the cornerback, and that's the thing. If the Jets or the Giants take Ahmed Gardner, I think that's.
I'm telling you right now,
That's a
the
stupid
Jets are going to take him. The
That's
Jets
all
are going to take him, man.
Because he's a solid player, but cornerback is not as valuable of a position as it used to be before.
Sauce Gardner or whatever.
Yeah,
his
Sauce
name is?
I
from
actually
Cincinnati.
I have the Jets taking him. So
Listen, like I said, he could be a good cornerback, but you don't take a cornerback top 10. You look at all the cornerbacks that have been taken in the top 10, and it just doesn't work out. The only ones that's worked out is Deion Sanders, Champ Bailey, and Rod Woodson. That's pretty much it. Cornerbacks that go top 10 that work out. You go back a couple of years, the kid that went 3rd to Detroit, everybody was talking about how good he was. They even traded away Darius Slay because they got him, and you don't even hear about him. He got injured 1 year and he got ripped apart his rookie year. Yeah. So you just don't do that for a cornerback. Cornerback is not it's not as important as safety. Safety is more important because you have to cover the run, you have to cover the deep, you have to be able to hit, you have to be able to do more things than safety. So that's more important than a cornerback. With today's rules, cornerbacks is not as important. You just need a good one. You don't need a top tier one.
That's fair. I mean, I just hope these guys don't F this up like Dave Gettleman has.
I don't think they will.
Yeah, because the Giants may look at Sauce too. So
Oh, come on.
Yeah,
That's-
that's
that's-
Smoke.
that's
Smoke.
weak sauce.
Smoke.
All right, so I'll put it on your club, your team. He obviously, you guys were the number 1 seed last year. A little disappointing end to your season.
Very.
A time that you sacked Joe Burrow 9 times.
Crazy.
I mean, start of the game, Ryan Tannehill throws a pick, and I'm like, what?
First pass and last pass.
This is the type of game we're gonna have, huh?
Last
And
pass.
still, even with all the,
Poor Pete.
even with playing poorly on the offensive side, your defense held up really well. Sacked the man
Played
9
dominant.
times, and you gave the ball to your quarterback to win the game, and he didn't.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do with your picks?
I think they're going to probably take a wide receiver because I personally listen. Desmond Ritter's my number 1 quarterback because he can do similar things that Malik Willis can do. However, he actually can read defenses better and he can make better plays with his eyes and looking people off and everything. And he has a great arm. He just doesn't get the hype that Malik Willis does. But if he falls there, I think that's somebody they can think about taking a quarterback. But other than him, I think they have to go wide receiver because they have A.J. Brown, they have Robert Woods. They need somebody else because if either one of them gets hurt, Westbrook Ikhine is the one who played in their spot last year. He's not good. He's a number 5 wide receiver. He should not be starting. So they need another wide receiver in there to give Tannehill another weapon because if they're going to keep Tannehill, which it looks they will be for at least another year, they need to make his job as easy as possible.
Pete, A.J. Brown for now, right?
No, for good. Don't listen to
Well, there's a little
don't listen to
controversy.
these Jets fans.
No.
Don't
There's
listen to any of these
no,
Jets
I know, but there's a
fans.
little controversy going around with some of these wide receivers. So
Well,
not
everybody all
reporting
fucking
and all that
paid.
stuff. I'm just
You
saying.
know whose fault
Just
it is?
saying.
Christian Kirk. Because Christian Kirk got a monster contract from the Jaguars, and now since he got the contract, now all wide receivers want to get
Christian
paid.
Kirk, the 3rd wide receiver
I don't-
from the Cardinals.
Yeah, he
That
got.
guy?
I don't just
now
blame-
he got paid like almost $20 million a year, like
Yeah,
$18
but see,
million a year for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now everybody wants to get paid.
No, I don't just blame it on him though. I blame it on the big contracts as well. Which of
Yeah, but
course
they
you know
got
what I'm
all
saying.
after him, though.
Correct. Yeah, but I'm saying all the wide receivers are getting paid now, right?
Yeah.
All these big contracts. So now what are they saying? Okay, where's my money?
They should send
I've
him
done
gift
this. I've done
baskets.
A, B, C, and D for this team. Now I want to get paid.
Yeah, but
so
that's the
AJ
thing.
Brown,
You didn't see all
Debo
these people
Samuel.
complaining
I mean,
before.
it's crazy. It's nuts.
When you see
Debo
a
deserves
number,
contract.
when you see
I know
no,
he does. I'm
but-
just saying. But look
When you
at
see a
all
number
these
3
wide
wide
receivers that are
receiver,
coming
like
out.
you said, number 3 wide receiver, and he's getting paid $18 million,
that's crazy.
other people are going to be like, yo, why am I only making 15, 16? Like, give me 20.
For sure. And
That is nuts. Though.
They should all give him a gift basket for raise up the wide receiver price like that.
Well, I'll do this because Dave mentioned them. The Jets, I believe they also have two first-round picks.
Yep.
I mean, I don't even know where to go with the Jets anymore. It's like they're like the Giants now. Even though they've been in the same situation longer than us, it's like every year they need something. And it's like they just haven't figured that point out yet. Where do you think they go with their 2 picks?
The weird thing about the Jets is that they've actually had a really good offseason, but it's not a flashy offseason, but that's good. You don't have to be flashy. You just need to take care of it.
Why? Because they kept Braxton Berrios?
Well, no. Because they went and got Laken Tomlinson to be their guard. He's one of the top 10 guards in the league. They obviously picked the guard last year with Olivera Tucker, so they have him at the other guard. Colin McGovern is a good center. He's a good solid center, so they have him. So they're getting the interior of their line good. They have Becton from last year that they took in the first round. And then at the right side, you have George Fent, who's actually been a very consistent. He actually played left tackle when Becton was out, and he played very well, only allowed 1 sack all year. So their line is actually set to the point where they don't have to take a high offensive lineman. So Chris Wilson should be able to do what he needs to do. I just don't know if Chris Wilson is the guy. But you have
Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson. But you have that offensive line.
I know
It's
you
okay,
miss your
it's
friend.
okay.
He said,
I know
"Chris,
you-
who the fuck is Chris Willis?"
I know you miss your friend.
Nah.
I know you miss your friend in Hoboken.
No.
Yo,
he misses his friend.
Pop, can you look that up?
But he
Who's
plays
Chris
for the
Willis?
Panthers.
I have no fucking clue who's Chris Willis.
But listen, you have all those people
Have
there.
you gone out with Zach Wilson yet?
No.
In Hoboken? No.
No. So what happens? You don't like
It's
hanging out
COVID,
with
man.
Jets?
It's
You don't like
COVID.
you don't like
What
hanging
about
out with
Sam? What about Sam?
That's what I'm
No,
saying.
Sam
It's
Darnold.
He misses
Nobody's
his
going
friend.
out.
Are you hanging out with Sam
He misses
anymore?
his
Or no?
friend.
Nobody's going out.
You haven't flew to Carolina to hang out with Sam Darnold?
Not flying there.
No?
No. So, listen, so they got their offensive line. You still got Corey Davis there. They're trying to get another wide receiver there. They have weapons on offense to where they can actually produce. They even signed a couple offensive linemen. They signed Conklin from Minnesota. They signed Azuma from Cincinnati. So they have a bunch of weapons there for him. He just needs to produce.
So you think they go defense?
Yeah, they have to go pass rusher. That's the biggest need right there.
That too.
A lot of people are also talking about them with Sauce because they have a young secondary. They probably need a DB. But I want to go
fourth pick. Though?
I want to go DB with those two picks. I mean, if they are going to go DB, then at number 10, maybe you can take Hamilton if he's around. But other than that, I would go defensive line. I will get that wide receiver that they need, and then in the second round, they have 2 more early second round picks. They can get the cornerback and safety back then.
So this offseason has probably the craziest offseason in NFL history.
Ridiculous.
We got quarterbacks getting traded. We got freaking Devontae Adams,
number 1 wide receivers,
Tyreek Hill. Let's talk about the Chiefs, man. They basically got they basically went from the cheetah to a house cat.
Jesus.
And Dre's boy, Juju Smith-Schuster. So we're gonna see Juju and Jackson Mahomes on the 50-yard line, TikToking it up, huh?
That's horrible.
I can't wait to see that. But what do they do? Like, I feel like the Super Bowl was theirs to win last year. I don't see how they lost. Like, I just don't understand. Obviously, Joe Burrow just went on some
Teams
run.
aren't afraid of them anymore. That's the thing. Teams were afraid of their offense, saying, all right, we got to score 40 points to beat this team. They're so fast on offense. And teams were actually winning the games, like, psych themselves out. They didn't do that this year. Teams said, all right, let's just play smash mouth football, hit them in the mouth, and let's see if they punch back. And they did against Buffalo because Buffalo blew their game with 13 seconds to go. But Buffalo wasn't afraid of them. Tennessee wasn't afraid of them. These are teams that beat them throughout the year. And it started from game 1 when they played against Cleveland. And even though they won that game against Cleveland almost beat them to open up the season last year. And it showed teams just aren't afraid of them this year. So, and it's going to get harder because as Mahomes makes more and more money with his contract as it kicks in this year, you got to give away these other players that are making so much money, and it just happened to start with Tyreek.
So what do they do? Do you think they need to go offense on this side of on this drive on that side of the football, or they stack up on the defense because everyone's playing smash mouth? So they need to play smash mouth too.
They have to. I don't think they'll ever play smash mouth football with Andy Reid there, just because that's the type of coach he is. He's going to throw the ball more than he runs it, and I think they're going to get a wide receiver because they'll just try to get There's probably the deepest position in this year's draft is wide receiver.
Yeah, for sure.
There's 7 to 8 wide receivers that can go in the first round this year. So I think they have 2 picks in the first round, back-to-back picks. I think they go 1 offense to get the wide receiver, and they go 1 defense to try to help out that side of the ball.
Interesting. In terms of another team that I'm really interested in talking about, it's the Rams. The Rams have no picks.
Ever. They don't care.
Ever. And they won a championship. And they won the Super Bowl. Huh. So if you're a GM, Dave, do you go into this draft saying, fuck those picks? And, like, let's say, I don't know, who would be close? Let's say the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins are a relatively good team, right? And all it takes for, like, six, seven additional pieces, right? You might not get them in this draft, but maybe you go out and trade. Maybe you go out and get, like, a Von Miller type. Maybe you go out and get someone like Jalen Ramsey. Maybe you go out and get someone like Odell Beckham Jr., right? You'll lose all your draft capital, but if the Rams have proven anything, which draft picks don't mean shit to them. You know what I mean? Like, they basically won a Super Bowl trading all their draft picks away. So what do you think of that theory? What do you think of that thinking in terms of building a championship contender without draft capital?
I think it's very risky.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? You better have the money, obviously, number one, if that's what you're going to do. You better be able to move your pieces as well, because obviously we've seen it time and time again, with off seasons, who gets cut because of money or, what I'm saying, dead cap, right? I mean, there's so many things that, a GM has to think about. I mean, credit to them. I mean, again, I'm not a Rams fan, but they did a great job. And when they traded for Stafford, I mean, that was crazy, right? Because Goff was what? He was like this. He was like the coach's boy, right? He was McVay's like boy. It's like his fucking son. Trading off his son. I'll be honest with you. I was just like, wow, this is gonna be nuts. Like, what is gonna happen now? So, but I mean, the GM obviously, on that side of the ball, has done a great job, man. So obviously they had Aaron Donald. They went out, like you said, they got Ramsey. They were able to put some weapons behind. Even they lost and they lost what's his name,
Robert Woods.
Robert Woods during the season.
Yep.
You know, that was crazy enough.
Shout out to
And then they
Baker
go
for
out to
shout out
the
to Baker
OD,
Mayfield
man,
for
which is ridiculous.
dropping Odell Beckham draft capital. Like any
Yeah.
value Odell Beckham had, Baker Mayfield wasted it,
Yeah.
and they got a steal for probably a third-round draft.
Yeah.
They did, but I mean, listen,
And only had to pay him like
real
3-4
risky,
million.
man, real
And
risky.
he lost
to do
half of
that,
it in
so.
crypto. Shit happened.
Pay me in crypto.
that was bad.
But what kind of team can you think apply those principles? That's like there and we
Denver.
really Denver, okay.
Denver, they're going for it right now. Trading away the 9th overall pick to get Russell Wilson. They already think they have a top 10 defense that they can hold off that side of the ball. They got Jerry Jeudy, they got Cortland Sutton. They have Tim Tetrick as their wide receivers. Even though they trade away a tight end, they have another tight end that they drafted from Missouri a couple years ago. So, and they think their offensive line is good enough that they can hold off with Russell Wilson and try to go after
Would
it.
Russell Wilson be good enough?
That's what
That's
I
the
was
question I have because
That's what I was going to ask.
I can see a little bit of decline in him, and the more games he plays, you can see that even the last full year that he played, not talking about the injury year, but the last full year he played, you can see how hot he started off the season, and then he just slowly declined as the year went along. And your body just takes hits, and he's the type of quarterback that early in his career, he took so many hits. He's not 36, 37 years old. He's still 32, 33, but he's taken so many hits, and he's a smaller guy. It's going to have an effect on him.
I like the rookie running back as well.
What for?
For
Javonte?
Denver. Yeah,
Javonte
he's
Williams?
good, man.
Yeah,
He's good.
Javonte Williams.
I think
is
he's
really
going to be
good. Out of
good. I think
UNC,
he's going to be
really
good. I think having Melvin Gordon on that team though is a problem because I don't.
Gordon's still-
I think Williams, man. If you give him the ball, if you give him the rock.
No, but that's the
I think
thing.
they're better.
Right now, Gordon's still a free agent, so he may not go back there.
Oh, wow.
There's
Okay,
talk
I
about
didn't
him
realize
going to
that.
Baltimore, so he's probably.
I think that's going to be a good thing for that team. I really do.
You still need a second running back in today's league, though, because one guy they
guy's
break down,
sad,
you're screwed.
for sure.
So you got to do that. And can we just talk really quick about Green Bay because Green Bay is in that position. with
Crazy.
Aaron Rodgers.
Crazy.
I personally think they have 2 first-round picks too. With you trading away Devontae Adams, I think you got to go wide receiver with both picks. Like you have to give Rodgers somebody to throw to. You can't have Alan Lazard and then your second one is Randall Cobb, who you don't even want on the roster, and then your third guy is who knows. You need to get some people in there. I think Amari Rodgers, the rookie that they drafted last year,
They got rid of that
third,
guy with
fourth
that
round.
weird name.
MVS.
Yeah, he's now in Kansas City. So
They got rid of
agency,
they
though.
got
Free
rid
agency,
they got
right?
rid of Juju
Yeah,
and they
that's
got
free agency.
Valdez Scantling
Yeah.
and then
and they paid Juju $4 million a year with incentives to reach $10 million, while they guaranteed $10 million to Valdez Scantling. But the Green Bay Packers, I mean, you already got your running game, you got your offensive line, you got Rodgers, so you don't have to worry too much. But you need wide receivers. You get to take 2 wide receivers in the first round, like then your offense is replenished and they're not like making $20 million a person.
do you think they take 2 wide receivers in the first round?
I think they'll definitely take at least one. I think they have to consider that second one.
Wow. Got to get Aaron Rodgers some love, right? Jordan Love hanging on the bench.
Jordan
That man thought he was
I like
starting.
I like
too.
how you did that.
Yeah.
I like how you did that.
Wasted him.
Wasted a pick on Jordan Love.
First round pick. Oh.
Because Rodgers might play till he's like 42, man, 43. So it's
may.
like it's crazy. All right, before we move on to the NBA draft, Pete, I want to get your thoughts on this draft class and then quarterbacks. How many quarterbacks do you think we taken in the first round?
I think there's going to be 4 because Willis is going to go top
4, that's
10.
it?
Yeah.
You got-
You think it was 4, that's
with
it?
a group that people
That's
said,
it,
all right, it
my
kind of
man?
sucks this year, but Willis is going top 10. I think Pickett is probably going to go in the
Yeah.
teens.
That's my boy, man. Kenny Pickett, bro.
He's
Shout
the
out
one
to
that did
the
the
Pitt.
fake, he's the one they had to put in a rule for this year because of the fake slide he did.
Hey,
He had like a fake slide and they kept running and
Hey,
ran for a
man.
touchdown. It was like,
Hey, man.
you
You ain't-
I like that. That's
you
pretty
ain't,
cool.
You ain't trying.
That's
if you ain't
innovative.
cheating.
Innovation,
You know what I mean?
nigga.
yeah, so there's a rule now.
Innovative.
What is it? If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
So he's gonna probably go in the top 20. Ritter now seems like his low is Steelers because the Steelers seem to like Ritter. And I think my personal opinion is that at the end of the first round, Detroit has picked 32, and it behooves them to pick a first round quarterback rather than wait till the second round, pick a couple picks later because you get that extra year of eligibility where you can keep them. So I think at that pick they take Sam Howell from UNC.
Okay, that's crazy. Only 4? I see guys having 7 going.
Yeah, they're stupid.
That's crazy.
They're stupid.
The classes.
Listen, they got the sleeper. The sleeper could be Carson Strong. Carson Strong is a guy who has a really, really good arm, probably one of the best arms in the entire draft. He's not as mobile as the rest, but he is 6'3", he's 220, so he has good size, he has good arm. So he has all the attributes to be a really good player, and he's probably going to go like 3rd round.
Before we go to the NBA, what do the Steelers do? I mean, I know Dre's going to be watching, right? Because, he doesn't show up.
They trade up for Malik Willis.
I think they really have their eyes set on Ritter to take a quarterback. If somebody takes Ritter before them, then I think they'll probably go offensive line because they really made it a point to go after their offensive line this offseason. They signed 2 players. They signed Cole to be their center, so they really attacked which was their weakest position last year. I mean, Big Ben got rocked so many times last year. The running game, I think they led the league in the running back getting hit in the backfield last year. So they needed offensive linemen. They got 2, just like in a second, as soon as free agency started. Mm-hmm. I think they're going to draft a 3rd one at some point, if not that 1st round pick, then the 2nd round pick. And kind of the same thing with Cincinnati. Cincinnati, we talked about this show about how bad their line was last year. They need to take some offensive line. Well, no, they don't now. That's the thing, because they went out and signed. Oh yeah, they went out and signed 3 offensive linemen. They got Collins from the Cowboys. They went out and got a guard for the right side. They got Alex Karras, who's from New England, Kappa from Tampa Bay, the right guard. So they went and signed all these offensive linemen. And Jonah Williams actually played well at left tackle. He was the only guy on the roster that played well on offensive line. So they don't even need an offensive line right now. That's how much they revamped it in all season.
Oh, Cincinnati. I mean, the AFC is
doing what they need to do.
The AFC is
like the demolition corps.
No, ridiculous. The AFC is ridiculous.
The AFC is ridiculous. West alone. Yeah, the AFC is ridiculous. But somehow someone from the NFC will win the Super Bowl.
Probably.
So,
it'll happen.
It'll happen again. Happened the last 2 years, right? Where we said Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Baker Mayfield, Patrick Mahomes. Now they got Russell Wilson. They got who else moved over from the NFC?
Well, everybody thought Watson was going to move, but he stayed in the AFC. So,
Baker's got to go somewhere, but Baker's probably goes to CFL. I don't know.
He doesn't move the needle.
Yeah, I don't.
It's going to be doing more.
Maybe Seattle.
Maybe Seattle. Maybe. All right, so I'm sure when we come back, Pete will have more analysis on what happens in the NFL draft. I don't want to reveal his mock draft because that's how he gets paid and that's how he makes a name for himself. So I'm not going to reveal it here. I'm sure it's going to come out this week. Mm-hmm. So be on the lookout for that.
Yep.
So, Dave, I'm going to go to you. We have about 10, 12 minutes left. Your Nets, man.
NBA.
Your Nets.
The Brooklyn Nets.
I mean, we might focus the rest 12 minutes just on the Nets.
They suck.
That's crazy.
What is going on?
I don't know. I think it's just, a circus, on, them getting to the playoffs. This season's been a whole circus. You could listen. You could only listen. You got to tip your hat to the Celtics. They've been able to, disrupt and take away KD, and it's frustrating.
Wow.
So you see Kyrie, not being able to pick up the slack, and now they're down 3-0.
Should have got back.
They're down 3-0.
Got back.
So and who knows when this guy's coming back? Which he's not even going to make a difference anyway. So.
Ben Simmons?
Ben Simmons. He play back?
That ain't even gonna be. That's not even
man,
gonna be.
I'm all for mental health and all that stuff, but I think Ben Simmons he's just taking advantage of every fucking thing in the world, and good for him.
Trash.
Yeah,
but listen,
still getting paid.
It's been a crazy season. Obviously, what do they seed again? I can't even remember.
What, Brooklyn?
Yeah, they
6.
Six.
Actually, no, 7.
7. I mean, but Kyrie didn't play half the season, essentially. So
there was a possibility, obviously, of them not seeding. I didn't think that would happen, but
they had to play in the playing games.
They had to play in the playing game, so it's just been a roller coaster for them. So I thought the Celtics, honestly, were the better team. To start the series, and obviously it's proven.
Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving.
Doesn't matter.
Listen, all those Net fans talking shit about the Knicks. We got no one. We don't got a top 10 player. You got 2.
That's fucked up.
You got 2 top 10 players, and you about to get swept. You about to get swept.
You got the best player in the league, and come on, man.
You're about to get swept.
And I don't want to hear Kyrie's bottled up because he talked himself out of it. He got a 40-point game the first game of the series.
He did.
And all of a sudden, now he can't score. He talked himself out of it.
How many games? He had 14 points last game or something like that?
When Steph Curry is your leading scorer, that's a problem. Game 3, when Bruce Brown. Is his name Bruce Brown?
Yeah, Bruce Brown.
Bruce Brown is your leading because Bruce Brown was the leading scorer yesterday. He had 26.
Yep.
Durant had 18, I believe, and Kyrie only had 16. So when Bruce Brown and Seth Curry are your two leading scorers,
Crazy.
you have a fucking problem. And Steve Nash, do you fucking coach?
No, he's not.
My man.
That's the actually. He's right. Getting out coached big time in this series.
I mean, first coaching
Big
gig.
time.
But what is he doing?
They should have hired him
What
in
is
the
he
first
doing?
place.
They should have kept Jacques Vaughn.
You don't hire somebody like that for their first coaching gig to say, "All right, go and win us a championship." Like it doesn't work like it did with Miami. Like it just happened to work with
They
Miami,
gave Steve
and he
Nash.
happened to be a good coach. But you can't do it that way. You just can't give a first
Good
time head
coach
coach a
or good
superstar.
president?
The saying is they gave Steve Nash, he's a Ferrari, and he don't know how to drive.
Yeah.
Like literally on Twitter, on Twitter yesterday, someone tweeted. I'm sorry, I can't give him credit for it because I don't remember who. They were like, the Nets need to start charging Steve Nash for his courtside seat. 'Cause he ain't doing that. He's just a fan. He's just watching like us. He's just watching like us, literally.
KD, what do you want to do?
He's an intramural coach right now.
Like it's,
What do you think we should do, KD?
That's what he's doing.
They're done, right?
Yeah,
They're done,
they're
right?
definitely done.
They're done, right? They're swept
now they're
tomorrow.
done. They're done.
Whenever
They're
they play
done.
Tuesday, Monday to Tuesday.
Yeah.
All right, what's up with your Bulls, man?
Dude, first of
Don't
all,
you come-
that was a disgraceful effort that they put in Game 3 when they just got destroyed. I mean, after winning Game 2 and putting up a really good battle in Game 1, you're like, all right, so maybe this is going to be a good series. Now you're going home. You just won a big
You guys
game.
getting blown out right now. Sorry.
And it's the same thing. You get your 2 games at home, you're just getting killed at.
It's
It's terrible.
108-86 right now. It's
Yeah,
5 minutes left in the fourth
It's
quarter.
terrible. Two straight games like that. And DeRozan, who's been their MVP all year, he's been really bad this series. He's shot over 50%. He had that streak during the season where he had like 10, 12 games where he shot over 50%, had 40 points. And he's shooting under 50% in the series. He's not playing well.
I mean, ultimately, I didn't think you guys were going to beat the Bucks. I think,
Before the series started, you're like, just one game, you're fine.
Yeah, you one game, you're fine. But after you won a game in Milwaukee, you're like, we'll win at least one in Chicago,
Yeah.
right?
And they were up in Game 1 late, so.
And then we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. This series goes 6, maybe 7. Then you'll have fun with it. But ultimately, like before we go, we'll get our NBA championship picks. But the one series that I really want to hone in on, there's 2 actually.
Yeah.
The Jazz Mavericks.
Yep.
Yeah.
Luka's
Without
back.
Luka.
Without Luka was a series.
Yeah.
Luka came back yesterday, obviously rusty in the first 2 or 3 quarters, but then you saw Luka in the fourth,
Yeah.
just being ice cold.
Yeah.
What chances do you give the Jazz now that Luka's back?
I think it's still going to be a close series that goes 7. It's going to come down to the last 5 minutes of Game 7 because the 2 teams are very evenly matched. Jazz are a team that doesn't do well late in games.
No,
They
they
blow.
almost blew it yesterday
They
too.
blow a lot of late games.
They came back last night, but they do blow a lot of late game
you
leads.
just can't have any confidence in picking the Jazz, especially when Game 7 will be in Dallas.
I do like Donovan Mitchell though.
I do too.
But I guess a big surprise to me because a lot of people, the sexy pick for like outside of the Warriors, because the Warriors are looking like the Warriors again.
Forget it, man.
But
They're good.
the sexy pick for the Western Conference was the Grizzlies. A lot of people were picking the Grizzlies to go to the finals, and here they are against the Minnesota Timberwolves. They're in a fight. It's 2-2.
Ja, baby.
Fans jumping onto the
too
court,
young.
getting
Ja.
arrested.
Anthony
That's
Edwards.
Minnesota fans.
Anthony Edwards didn't even know who A-Rod was last year, and look at him now. Like
I remember that.
So, what chance do you give the Timberwolves to pull off upset in the series?
Listen, they've blown how many leads
God.
this season? I mean, this
Well, they
season-
blew it.
They blew a 20-point lead
man.
twice,
Yeah,
2
twice,
games
which
ago,
is
and then
ridiculous.
yesterday
So,
they blew a 15-point game
I
to barely come back and win.
I think I think those blowing those leads. I mean, it's tough to overcome that. So
They came back strong yesterday.
Yeah.
though.
they did. But I like the Grizzlies. More. I mean, I like Ja Morant, of course. A lot of people rave
Cat's
about
playing.
him.
Other than
so-
that one game, Cat's playing his ass off though.
So I'm thinking the Grizzlies take this series in the end. So
It's 2 young teams. That's the
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I mean,
Neither team knows how
the
to win.
dads are butting heads too, right on the sideline. It's cool, man. I like that. I like.
I think the
I like
Western
the
Conference
back script on. and
I
stuff
think the
like
one
that's
thing
pretty
that
cool.
I can say that I'm happy we don't have in this playoff series, we don't have LeBron.
Yeah.
Because LeBron will be taking up so much media coverage.
Yeah.
And like now you get to see people ball out without having to worry about LeBron and his bullshit ass Lakers. Like I'm glad they're not here. I'm glad John Morant's getting shine.
Yep.
I'm glad Anthony
Cat,
Edwards,
yeah.
Cat. I'm glad, when Booker wasn't injured, I'm glad he's getting shine. Luke is getting his shine.
Dane is like coming out of nowhere as a sharpshooter now.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Jalen Brunson's getting shine.
For the wrong reason.
You know what I mean? So it's like,
Brunson's going to get paid. The Knicks don't pay him?
nah, hell no.
Yeah, I think the Knicks are going to sign him next year. He's a good point guard.
What about Donovan Mitchell? What about Donovan? I heard
He's gonna stay.
There's rumors. There's rumors
stay.
that he might come to New York. Who knows?
No, he's not.
So
Everybody relax.
Everybody
we're gonna sign Chris Paul. That's what we're gonna do
Yeah.
because we always sign the old fucking
No,
stuff.
he'll help.
Yeah, he'll help us get it to the second round, and then we'll be giving him Bobby Bonilla money. We'll be paying him for like 30 years. So
Knicks make it to the second round. I'm Bob Bonilla money.
that's true. That makes sense. But in terms of this playoffs here, I think it's been really exciting. And I haven't paid attention to the NBA all year just because the game's just different. Everyone's heaving up threes. But the games that I watch in the playoffs, actually good camaraderie. There's actually good ball movement. There's actually people that actually make shots that aren't three-pointers. Even though you watch the fucking Warriors and all they do is shoot threes, but they make them. So that's the problem.
They're the only team that can do that.
That's the thing. It's the only team that can do that. You know what I mean? So ultimately, I think we're going to have kind of like last year. We're going to have a good playoff series, a good playoff run because the usual suspects aren't going to be there, right? Durant's going to be gone soon. Mm-hmm. LeBron ain't even in there. So it's like the new faces of the NBA are finally taking center stage, and I can't wait to see it. So with that being said, what's your pick for the NBA Finals?
I think it's going to be Milwaukee versus Golden State in a rematch.
Damn it, I hate you.
And I think Golden State's going to win it this time.
We're going Phoenix. They play Phoenix.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that.
So Milwaukee, Phoenix?
Yeah. No, I think it'll be Milwaukee versus Golden State, and I think Golden State wins it.
I'm going to go with Milwaukee, Golden State as well, but I think Milwaukee wins it. I think Giannis is he may not be Durant, but he's damn near close to being the best player in this fucking league. Like he's an animal, dude, and now he's making foul shots. Man, watch out, man. Watch out. What about you, Dave? What do you think about?
I'm going to go with the Warriors versus the Celtics, only because you guys
kinda
kind of did pick what I was going to say, but all good. I want to be different. I want to be the same. So, listen, I think this is going to propel Boston. Beating Brooklyn, I think that's going to give them confidence, and they already have a good, solid team. Obviously, I do think that the road to the NBA championship does obviously go through Milwaukee, defending champs. But I'm going to go with
Middleton being hurt.
I'm going to go with yes.
I think they're really good.
And I have Golden State winning it. So.
Okay,
well, Embiid getting hurt at the end too.
That too. I mean,
annual injury.
Embiid's also a monster, man. He's playing his ass off.
He's fucking playing good.
So no chance for Phoenix with Devin Booker being out for 2 weeks. You know what I'm saying?
I just don't think so.
That's a big
loss. I mean, they're a good team. They play team ball, but you need that closer late in games. And I don't know if Paul's going to be that guy. You need another like a sharpshooter, and that was always Booker.
And no chance for Miami. Miami's number one seed in the East. No one really cares about Miami.
They play great team ball, but it's just I'm not going to bet against Giannis.
Wow. I mean, I'm not either. So I think we're gonna have a fantastic playoff series. It's been good so far. Like not really that many blowouts, and I think it's only gonna get better. So, yeah, you see, we're back. Tune in. We'll be here and there. We'll figure out a day.
Maybe next time we'll have music.
Maybe next time we'll have music.
Little by little.
We're trying to.
We're back. We're back. We're back.
Baby steps.
We're back.
Go subscribe.
We're back.
Please go
subscribe.
Support us.
So YouTube will stop screwing us.
Yes, basically, I haven't watched baseball all year, so I'm going to probably stay away from that too.
Anyways, about baseball next time.
But I won't have much input, especially not on the Yankees.
Greatest World Series champion.
There you go. That's our show. Yeah. We'll be back next week. And, Pete will reveal his mock draft. And then you disagree or not disagree.
Órale, mi gente.
All right.